Let's talk about Chocolate in the video. Small town boredom tune.
That's kind of what it's about. It's oh, we're doing an interview now.
Yeah.
It was take one. Yeah, Chocolate is. Yeah, it's kind of a love letter to the kind of small town boredom that we experienced. I think it was obviously with bored police, bored kids, certain interactions kind of ensue, and yeah, it was. I never thought about that song as being like a hit record. We never ever projected it, especially for that song. So it's nice that it's been so embraced, and that kind of really specific part of our life is kind of out there. It's cool.
Where does it sit in a set now that you have this massive hit? Do you try and open it, or do you save it for the end? Does it go in the middle?
In the set, it goes near the end. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big song.
Right.
It's where everyone goes crazy. You've got to save it for near the end.
So because some bands like to open with it, get everyone going. Some
No,
bands
well,
like
we're very fortunate that we've got a lot of material. And
I'd say, I mean, this is just the regular CD, but the deluxe has what, like 39?
39 on the debut, yeah. So there you get, and we have a very hardcore fan base. So, I mean, if we open with 80% of that record, kids go crazy. So it's good fun.
What I'm trying to understand is the EP. So you guys wrote songs around what you felt were going to be the hit songs, I suppose, or the anchor tunes of the record, maybe.
Yeah.
So how did you know which ones would be the anchors to write around?
Well, I don't know. It was peculiar. We pretty much had this set of songs, and then said that we were going to take tracks off it, to have as singles, but we didn't want to just do it like a single because that's boring and not really reflective of what we're like or who we are. So we just wanted to write records around particular songs. So we kind of took 3 songs that were like polarizing ends of our identity, kind of sonically, stylistically. So you have The City, Chocolate, and Sex. Sex being like very straight up kind of rock tune.
Yeah, rock tune for sure.
And The City's, I don't know what it is, like big beat, shoegazy kind of thing. But that was the plan, and then we kind of kept ourselves on our toes with these EPs as well, because we gave ourselves like a week for each EP to write and record it. So we wrote and recorded Faced It Down in a week. Same with the Sex EP, same with the Music for Cars, and then IV. So the EPs came out first, so they were kind of like our first album, but we wrote them after we wrote our debut album, so they're kind of like our second album, but they came out first.
Well, I hear you're already like 7-8 songs into another record. You guys were writing over the summer.
Well, we don't really.
Do you ever stop writing, or are you just constantly jotting stuff down on your phone?
Well,
or
it's
whatever?
not even like that. That's why I like that's why this whole thing's amazing, because this is what we've always done, like indulgently, really. It had quite a derogative effect on relationships with people because of our sheer lust to actually create music. Now that's been validated. I don't know what I mean. Like, I suppose if we have a laptop and an evening, then we'll make a record. We won't. That's what we do for fun. So it's not. We always find it a bit weird when bands say they went off somewhere at a certain time to record something, because it feels like it should be more. Yeah, it should be.
Well, maybe you just have so much to say that maybe they need that release from everything to be able to think of things to say. Maybe you just have a lot to say right now.
Maybe so.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Maybe so. Definitely, musically, I've always got a lot to say. I don't know. Lyrically, I'm a bit more. I take my time a bit more, but musically I could. Are
you someone who really scratches out words and like really wants every word to mean something, or do you just let it flow and then, well, this is what I said, so this is what goes on paper? Yeah,
it's very conversational. My obsession with the situation is very apparent in the record, and the idea of interaction on obvious conversation. I think that lyrics for me, I don't really know. Like I said, like nobody knew about our band for 10 years. So when I first started writing lyrics, I wasn't like restrained or harbored by any of the questions like, am I being too honest, or am I being relatable? It was a genuine form of like creative expression. So I think that's kind of why people have embraced it to a certain extent. I don't know. It's quite earthy, I suppose, lyrically.
George has said, I think it was George that said, the album is a search for identity.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, it is, I think, searching. I've said it before a couple of times, like searching within oneself to acquire a true understanding of like who you want to project or what you want to project.
Were you able to find that?
Well, that's something that a lot of people can relate to. So I don't think I needed to find it. I think just the expression of that idea is really, really relatable because people, they know how that feels. They know how it feels to not really know who you are or what you're doing, and I know how that feels. I think with this record, it's quite sweet because it is a very self-deprecating, kind of neurotic, searching record in its narrative, but once people started hearing this music and like we had like all the fans who now we have a response from people after 10 years of nothing. We've had 8 months of having a #1 album, so no response to the biggest response you can have.
What's that been like?
Well, it really like projects catalyzes a progression in your understanding of who you are and like what you're doing and why you're doing it. I think that everybody who has a career, especially if you're doing it like in a band, you have this kind of imaginary ladder of success, you know, like where the material things are the kind of sole measure of what you're doing. And I think once you start to acquire those things, like #1s and all that kind of thing, it's amazing and it's very flattering and it is very validating. But it's quite brittle in regards to the stuff that I'm talking about on here and the kind of salvation that I want to find. You think it's going to change you as a person and it doesn't. And what it's made me really do is embrace our little fans. Because that's all that really matters. You can have so many statistical things. You can have so many, I'm not trying to be like really like a hippie. But I genuinely believe that like the only thing that's actually going to happen is like this. Regardless of whether you're religious or whether you're in fear or you live in the only thing that's ever going to happen is like a genuine human connection, a human interaction with somebody. So that's the only thing that I really care about now. After everything that's happened, which is quite a nice place to be because I'm allowed to make music now without hurting anybody and it's kind of being endorsed.
Talking about your fans there, I need the Mick Jagger story because that's insane. Talking about the craziness and all the highlights and everything.
So
he's standing on the side of the stage, singing along to your song and taking photos of you.
Yeah, getting his wife to take photos of him with us in the background.
Photobombing your set.
Yeah, essentially.
That's amazing.
I didn't have my glasses on, so I just saw this figure and I thought, no, it's not Jagger, obviously. And I turned around to look at George and I saw him like mouthing to me like. It was funny, man. That's one of those moments that you really think that you can take it in at the moment, but you can't. It's such an insane thing. Like for weeks after, I was like, wow. Because he asked for us to support them. I was in Philadelphia the day that I got that phone call. I was actually there yesterday. I had to go, I walked past the same place where it happened, and I remembered that actually, the day we got that offer to support the Rolling Stones. It was amazing. I mean, what can I say, of course? It was as rewarding as you would imagine it is.
I was looking at the tour dates. Like you're literally playing the world, and your schedule's mapped out until like March. I think you have like 2 weeks to go home for Christmas, and you're out on the road again.
It's mapped out until December, but the only one we've revealed is up until March.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So what's that like? That's a big change from like 10 years of you saying nothing, right? And then a year of nonstop. Yeah. So are you enjoying life on the road? I'm
very much enjoying life on the road, especially the fact that it is so on the road now, and where the book. Where the name comes from in On the Road.
Talking about Kerouac?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Kerouac was a big deal for me, especially, well, that's the whole 1975 story.
I didn't want to get you to talk your band name story again, but okay, go for it, sure.
Well, no, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I got given a copy of which I think was On the Road. I can't remember if it was that or if it was Fuzz Against Junk, but I think it was On the Road, and somebody had used it as a diary, somebody gave it to me. And I just acquired it, and somebody had dated this diary 1st of June, the 1975. So that's the story. But so when like the whole Kerouac thing when I was at 19, obviously I was very impressionable, very naive. You kind of think you want to be as decadent as that, and it's just that whole thing, you know, everything, nothing behind me, everything ahead of me as is life on the road, and that's genuinely how it feels now. It's funny because a lot of the time we're just like, really finding solace in our relationships with one another, being really kind to each other, making sure that we're always aware of how amazing it is that we've come this far, stuff like that. And it's also just ridiculous. Like the new video for Girls, people are probably going to freak out about it.
Why? Because it's in color?
Well, not just because it's in color. The last one was in color, and then everybody started saying like, "Oh, they're conforming to a major label. They're not staying true to the aesthetic." So I thought, right, I'm going to make a video about that.
Okay.
So we made a video about how ridiculous everything is now. The fact that when we came out, like everyone takes things so seriously. People take our band like so seriously.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a great thing,
Yeah, okay.
and we take our music very, very seriously. But the industry that we're in, like, we just wanted to make a video that summed up exactly what we would never do.
That's good.
It's kind of weird. It's funny though.
I kind of want to go off that, but you also said something that I want to talk, and I know we don't have too much time. If I can't dance or cry, then we can't finish a song.
It's the whole thing of like, my idea of a perfect song, right? I always say, it would sound like I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney, but convey like the conviction of like Leonard Cohen. You know, that juxtaposition of an amazingly uplifting, danceable piece of music, like that really, really gets into your core in the way that certain pop music does, juxtaposed with a narrative that provokes you to be more introspective and that kind of thing. That's my idea of a perfect song. If I don't feel like we're acquiring that to a certain extent in different kind of ways, then we might as well leave it, and then maybe it will evolve. But there's no point if a piece of music doesn't take you somewhere immediately, it's simply just going to be lost on you.
That's a good theory. We do something called 5 questions, 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Okay.
Road or studio?
Studio.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Rhythm.
If someone's never heard the 1975 before, what song do they start with?
Chocolate.
You sure you looked at it?
I don't know. I was, yeah, I'm obviously sure. I was genuinely trying to do that thing of not thinking about it.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. In 1 word, the 1975.
Awesome.
Nice, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.